What is up, YouTubers and music lovers out there? This is Scott McClure, Ocean and the Stars, and today have a treat for you. I am going to not only go through one of my favorite patches on the HX Effects by Line 6, but also in the description below you'll be able to download it. So if you have the HX Effects or the HX Stomp, I think I'm only using 7 blocks, so it should work on the HX Stomp as well. Then it'll be free down below. Enjoy. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys, just go through it and show you what I used, and just kind of show you the numbers that I picked. Of course, this is going to be completely dependent on your gear, your guitar, all of that, like the different EQ settings and all that kind of stuff is going to be totally up to you. But you get the basics of how to get this sound and utilize it in some of your favorite kinds of music. And I love all kinds of music, and over the past few years I've really gotten into dream pop, shoegaze, experimental music, reverb, and lots of effects and that kind of thing. And so I made this patch, and I love this patch, and hopefully you will love it as well. And yeah, so let's get started, and I will show you. So I'm starting with my Strat here, this Squire, which, by the way, I love. Best $199 you'll ever spend, or at least in my opinion. Of course, you do have to set it up a little bit, but it's still great, even just out of the box. At least I was lucky enough to get one that just played great right away. Going out of this into my HX effects into the interface, and then using Ableton Live. All right, here we are with a clean patch here, preset. So normally I would start over here if I'm going to use like an amp modeling, and IR, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to start down here just because I like to have EQ last in my chain, at least with a lot of clean sounds that I use. And so I'm going to get that first. And once again, this is really dependent on your guitar and your gear, the gear you're running through. It may not sound good with with these settings on your gear. But this is how it sounds, just running straight in. So yeah, not too bad. But let's add a little bit of sparkle. And my favorite EQ, the 10-band graphic right here. Love this guy. Just love some of the frequencies they have here, like 16K, 4K, and oftentimes I'll add a lot of 125 or 250 to add some body on the guitar. But today, I'm just wanting a little sparkle, so let me do that real quick, and I'm going to add a little bit. Let's go 7. I know that's a lot, actually not a little bit, but actually, let's go stereo. Yeah, here we go. This is why I love the HX effects, because I feel like you can use a lot of the effect, and it still sounds good. So you can go crazy with it, And that sounds pretty cool, just right there. But I'm just gonna take it back down, just because I don't want it too spanky and sparkly. Let's add around 4 decibels of 4K. Yeah, that's cool. And once again, whatever is going to work for you, you might not even need any of this. All right, so I'm going to go for some chorus, and gotta do the stereo. And I'm just going to pick this chorus one here. And right off the bat, that sounds pretty good. But I'm just going to take down the speed just a little, or the depth just a little bit here. Just a tiny bit, just so it's not quite as washy. Yeah, just a little bit of that. And then pre-delay 3.2, I'll just leave that the same. And triangle for the shape, leave that the same. The tone, yeah, you can pretty much just leave it on 5. Spread 10, and yeah, 50%. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go ahead and add a reverb. Definitely stereo, because I'm a stereo kind of guy. And I'm gonna go for this Searchlights just because I love this guy. I love how it just has this kind of, it's just kind of supposed to be kind of like going around your head like a searchlight, of course. But let's take that decay up, because I really want this to sound like we are flying out in the universe somewhere. It's going to take it up to around 8. We're about to start flying, folks. Yeah. I want it to definitely have that trail last for a while, that feedback there. And pre-delay, I'm just going to take this one off, just because I feel like, at least to my ears, I can hear a little bit more of the original signal. So it allows me to have a little bit more control of the mix. Low cut, high cut, I kind of do want more body, so I'm just going to take this down to about 130. Right there. And since there's a lot of effects going on this and it's already starting to lose that spark, I'm going to take the high cut back up here and probably go around 8 to 9K, somewhere in there. Yeah, that's good. And the mix, let's go about halfway. Yeah, that works. All right, and let's see, what we have here is modulation levels, fine, modulation. So already using chorus, so I don't really need that. You know what? I'll just add a little bit. Let's just throw in about. I mean, you can barely hear that, but it's slightly in there. That little bit of modulation there, with the feedback or the trail of the delay or the reverb. And speed 3.7. That's where it's set right now. Yeah, it's fine. 6.3. Okay, trails I'm going to leave on just because if I'm switching to another preset, I like it to continue, like just kind of die off into the distance instead of be this abrupt kind of end to the last sound. So, especially a sound like this, right? I mean, if you're going to the next sound, do you really want it to go, and then it's gone? Or, I mean, at least for me, I love that. Some more reverb, please. Stereo, please, of course. I'm going to do double tank. Just because I like that kind of, it's kind of similar to a plate reverb. Of course, being in a tank. But it adds kind of darkness a little bit. Let's see here. What should we do? I'm going to take up the decay just because, once again, I want to sound like I'm stuck out in the universe, flying around in space. Pre-delay. You know what? Let's do it. I didn't do it on the last one, so I'm going to go all the way up here somewhere. I think I went to around 81 milliseconds. With these reverbs together, it's a little hard to tell, but hey, it's in there. And the modulation, I'm just going to take that down. Take it down there a little bit. Yeah, it cleans it up just a hair, and just a little bit more mix. High cut, low cut. Let's hear it. Let's clean it up a little bit here. So we're going to cut around 260. Let's do that. I want to bring a little bit of that brightness back, so let's go to 16K. Let's bring that 16K back to life. Okay. There we go. Now let's start adding some delay. This is always the fun stuff right here. Can get a little complicated though, but just toy around with it and, trust your ears. Trust the cosmos. That's what's next. Cosmos Echo. Which I love. Yeah, now it's starting to sound dreamy and kind of like you're lost out in space. But let's do a little bit slower milliseconds here. Let's do 800 milliseconds, somewhere in there. And that's fine. What about feedback? Let's see. Just a little bit more. And wow and flutter, I mean, that's if you want that. But I feel like at this point, it's going to be kind of hard to hear. But I can show you a little bit of it. Oh yeah, it just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It just does this, almost kind of like it's a tidal wave or something. That's actually kind of cool. I don't know why I didn't add that on the previous patch that I made, but I kind of do like that. So originally I just had it around 5.0, so in the middle there. But I kind of like that, so I'm going to stick with it. Like I said, this patch is going to be available for you guys in the description. And for those of you who are using pedals or other effects that aren't the Line 6 HX effects, you can still achieve a lot of this kind of stuff without, the same kind of stuff too. Just, basically pay attention to the time, the feedback, and the mix. A lot of these, and the rate and the speed, of course, and the modulated stuff. And you can definitely achieve very similar results. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, like the Walrus Audio has a lot of cool stuff. The Joyo. One of my favorite ones, of course, would be Strymon. Is it the Blue Sky? And then you have Source Audio Collider. But yeah, if you have just like a basic delay and reverb, you can achieve this kind of stuff by stacking a few of them together. The mix is 50% here, and you have the headroom, which you really don't need to mess with unless, say for example, your delay and echo is adding some distortion and some aliasing sounding stuff, then you'll mess around with the headroom. And of course the mode here, I'll show you that real quick without all this so you can really hear what it's doing. It's kind of like the different patterns and timing, of course, of the delay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's pretty cool. And then this one. Say. I don't know why every time I hear that, I guess it makes sense, like in the Hall & Oates song. Just say. Every time I hear that type of delay, it always pops into my head. Thanks, Hall & Oates. Thanks. I like the 2, 3. My eyes are getting bad, so I can't really read. I think it says -2, 3 there. And of course the bass and treble, feedback tone, just kind of how you want your feedback to sound, darker or more present. The drive-through, just kind of how much signal of the original and the delayed sound. It's kind of a balance. And then, of course, gotta have the trails on. Yep, you guessed it. Another delay here. This time I'm gonna go for the Adriatic Swell. One of my favorite ones right here. So let's add all this other stuff in first, so we can hear what's going on all together. There it is. Now you're starting to get that kind of swelling effect. Yeah, I'll just switch it here. So this little clock here lets you switch between, you can pick milliseconds or the notes, and I like the quarter note. Just adds a little bit slower of a feel and a vibe. And let's see, feedback. I'm going to go a little bit more on this. Don't go too much, of course. It's definitely going to be like too delayed, but not the kind of delay you want. There we go. And then the BBD size, which is the type of delay itself, kind of, you know, when you think about the actual analog, the BBD, I think it's like bucket brigade delay. Well, let's go all the way 8192. And the rate, it stayed about 0.3, but I had it on 0.4. I mean, not like that is really going to make a huge difference, but you know, the OCD side of me is saying, oh, it has to be exactly the same as the preset you have. Depth, spread. Yeah, I think that, yeah, we'll go 5.0. Headroom. I had it on 2.9. I have no idea why, but maybe it was. Guess it's fine either way. And then, of course, you have the threshold and the attack. And this is just based on, you know, messing around with the swell. So you could just imagine it being like a, you know, it's ducking. So I have around -96. Oh, wow. So I just went all the way. So you could just go crazy with it, and it'll take forever for it to swell in. Wow, -27. Okay, that's way too much. Okay, how about this? Yeah, it's not too bad. And let's see, I went lower on the attack. Okay. Okay, so this is really gonna depend on what type of swell you want. I didn't want one that is 100%, one that sounded like it, because if you take all this back up, which is totally fine, but I guess I wanted a sound that's more like a mixture of that with hearing more of the original source. So there's barely a swell there, but just enough to kind of give it this kind of feeling. Okay. Next, you guessed it, more delay. Why not a reverse delay? Oops, let's go stereo. There's a lot of delay and reverb, so it's hard to hear that that backwards kind of thing. So let's go with around 1200 milliseconds. Yeah, that's what I have. 1231 and feedback. Okay, and low cut just a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut around 50 hertz, and high cut, just take it down just a touch. Okay, not a touch, but around 4K. Okay, around in there. Just kind of darken that reverse. And take down the mix just a touch here. So around 42%. And don't want modulation. Sure. Let's go back with some chorus again, just to bring it back. Yeah, I like that. And let's take up the speed just around 2. And depth. Let's bring that down. Actually, I want to bring it back up a little bit. Let's see what 30% sounds like. All right, 45%. Yeah, that'll work. And turn the trail on. Leave the spread at 10. But there you have it. And let's just go ahead and save this. So I'll just call this the new save preset. Boom. There it is. Now let's toy around with it and see what we got. Awesome. There you have it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. You can do all kinds of cool ambient, spacey kind of stuff. there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed that and enjoy the sound, the preset. And it's down in the description for you to download if you have the HX Stomp, HX Effects. And I'm not 100% sure if it's going to work in the HX Stomp because I don't have the HX Stomp anymore. I do know there's some DSP limitations, I think, compared to the HX Stomp. As far as the blocks go, it should be fine because I think I only used 6 blocks maybe. But those delays and reverbs, they eat up the DSP really fast. So you have to test it out. If anything, just jot down the settings in this video and, at least if anything, just as a starting point for inspiration and just toy around with different delays and reverbs, stack them and mess around and tweak with it. Found this a lot of fun, discovering this because I was looking to come up with a sound that would be useful for experimental and ambient style music. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and pushes my content forward to the viewers. So I really appreciate you guys watching. And new music is coming out the end of the month. I'm not sure yet what song. I have to decide on that this week. But new music is coming, and I'm super excited for all the new stuff that's coming with Ocean in the Stars, and even some of on my other project, Elevate the Sky, there's going to be some new stuff coming out later this year as well. So thank you all. Stay safe and have fun, experiment, enjoy life, and I'll see you in the next video.